Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, May 25th, and we are going through the news and going through the games, and we need to play priest class cards. We made it up to rank 19, so in this effort to play priest class cards, I may completely drop down to rank 19. Now, I'm gonna have to really think about this, because if I drop down to 19 at the end of the month, do I drop down lower, or is it the highest rank you reach? I think it's the highest rank you reach now determines where you start the next month. So there's less fear to sit at like rank 5 or something and not play for a few days. That would be the smart way for things to work, certainly, is to try and have a system that allowed players to keep playing even at the risk of losing stars. I guess for my usage of Hearthstone, though, I pretty much have to keep playing regardless, so it doesn't matter one way or the other. Do I want to play this now, or do I just want to end my turn? I think I'll just end my turn. We've got a game on Steam called Game Master Magus. It says it's a unique RPG simulation. This, to me, looks like it might be a card-based, slightly card-based RPG game. Let's see, it's the first game from this developer. It's 40% off for $10.79. Mind if I roll me? Let's see. The problem with a lot of these simulation games is on the floor of them, like, they are built on just showing you some kind of landside, and the landscape I'm seeing here is not very well animated, and I'm not sure what's going on. It does seem like you have cards, like I have cards right here, and you're playing them in some way to do some kind of top-down strategy game, which is a slightly interesting
I don't need any of you.
Slightly interesting twist on how things would work, certainly. So I'd almost be willing to play this. It's single player only, and it's early access. Let's see. It says it's a unique mixture of world simulation, player simulation, and RPG in the role of a game master. So it's like playing the dungeon, like a Dungeons and Dragons game master. And see, the games that are like this are Dota 2, Borderlands 2, and Raft. Man, these games like these recommendations are awful. They might as well not appear if they don't have the data. Instead of promoting just random things.
I hope you like my invention.
There we go.
For me.
So I'm gonna, I will say Magus does, Game Master, comma Magus, does seem like it is a little poorly animated, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it just to see. The idea of playing a Dungeon Master does have some slight appeal to me, because I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. So the idea of stepping in that role in a more controlled and educational environment seems like a way that I could learn whether that is a thing I would be interested in doing in the real world or not. in all honesty, I don't have time to do it, so it doesn't really matter. But it's an intriguing idea. Next game we have on Steam is called Drizzle Path Deja Vu. Is this the first game from this person? No, it is the sequel to a game called Drizzle Path that is 54% positive, 53% positive, and then there's several Drizzle Path games. Most of the games by this developer are rated mixed. Not great, but not horrible. This is an adventure casual indie atmospheric exploration. I would bet that it is, in all honesty, a walking simulator. It's a pretty walking simulator, but looks like it might be just a horror type experience.
Your weakness.
How much does he want? 10% off for $3.59. A bundle for a whole bunch of games for $37.34. Yeah, here at the bottom it says it is a relaxing walking simulator. So you really have to question how many walking simulators do you want in your life, ever?
I can't play that.
The answer, I imagine, is relatively low.
Must consider.
Mind if I roll knee?
Is someone injured?
So yeah, I don't see how I could justify recommending a walking simulator to anybody, particularly from a developer who's at best mixed. I will say, like, Dear Esther, probably worth playing. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, I did cover that. I think that is worth playing. There's maybe 2 or 3 other very well-known walking simulators out there, but that is kind of it. This is interesting. Next game we have on Steam is called Sword of the Black Stone, and the publisher is labeled as Steam, which is an hard argument to make, certainly. I guess there might be a certain point of argument there.
I hope you like my invention.
Okay. So I've now got Rush, which lets me do this.
Oh, you're sure?
And in the chat.
Thanks.
So this is a game, Sword of the Black Stone. This game looks like it is a either very, very bad attempt. I mean, this is not even to the level of an asset flip attempt. This is one of those Taiwanese Korean animation levels of attempt where it is bad on purpose. Well, for some reason, this is really, really hideous. I would say, like, maybe this would be a student project, like second or first year in the college of programming, of using just assets you found or were given. It's English only, so you can't say really that it's a.
The light shall bring victory. Light smiles
it's like
upon
a
the just.
cheap Chinese game or a Russian game. or anything like this. This is just literally just feels like somebody is completely out of contact with reality. Looking at these graphics, there's no reason why this game should be available, particularly for $10.99 with literally no discount. Just really, really bad in a uniquely bad way too. Next game we have on Steam is a game called Funk Unplugged, which is a 3D platformer. Its first game from this developer is selling for $14.99. However, it looks good. And since there was this whole collection of games in the Nintendo 64 era, which, by the way, Nintendo has trademarked the Nintendo 64 trademark, I believe, in the United States now, so we are moving towards a Nintendo 64 classic, I would almost certainly guess.
Right away.
In the Nintendo 64 era, open world 3D platformers were all the rage, and we just haven't had a lot of them since then. And Funk Unplugged, it seems like you're playing as a robot that maybe is called Funk, who's unplugged. It's not the best name in the world, but it does have something to look at that appeals to me. There's 2 positive reviews. Apparently this was a Kickstarter game. So there might be a little bit of passion because of that too.
Right away.
Yeah, we definitely need more 3D platformers, and particularly I need more in my life. A Hat in Time came out, and this does not look as good as A Hat in Time. That is also one that I would like to get and play. That was particularly one of those games that would have been nice to cover right when it came out, instead of being in my usual situation in which I'm just covering retrospective games.
Right away.
Rock Paper Shotgun has a article, What I Think, WOT space I Think, of Unforeseen Incidences. Unforeseen Incidences, I believe, is a point-and-click adventure game. I think I was trying to keep an eye out for it. Let's see. Who cares what they think? Well, I guess you might have to read Rock Paper Shotgun's articles because it's only got 3 reviews on Steam. And, no, it's got 11 positive reviews. So I'll keep an eye on this point and click and put it in my wish list because I am a sucker for point and click adventures. Let's start with the card draw. And that works quite nicely. And if I play this, I can do this.
Right away.
And that.
Hey, give me that.
And that. So yes, I'll wishlist Unforeseen Incidences. Next game we have is a game called Space Drop, which is just a space-themed Tetris game. Poor quality. I really don't need to go any further. It's 99 cents, but I don't see the point of putting these type of games on Steam. I don't know why you're flooding the market with something where you have nothing special or no reason why it would ever sell at all. Let's see, we've got some people in the chat. somebody called King Chris, hey, you there? Hello? It's like, geez, take a breath. I'm here. I look at the chat every now and then, but you posted 3 chat messages in less than 3 minutes. And I really don't get why people do this anyways on chat. If you want to say something, say something. Don't ask me if I'm looking at the chat, or just go, hey, hello. That's not a way to start a conversation. Start a conversation by having a subject or topic to talk about. I'm talking about things on the stream. If you want to comment about what I'm talking about on the stream, put a comment and an opinion there.
Anduin versus Rexar.
Let the hunt begin.
The light shall bring victory.
I don't know why I'm so critical of people on chats, but actually I do. I know it's because I play Clash Royale on my phone, and I see people, spammers particularly, always like, hey, hello, who's there? And it's like, geez, don't you know how chats work? Takes a while for people to respond. Next game we have on Steam is called Fury Fighter VR, early access VR game. I want to watch this video again and see what this trailer actually is selling, because I imagine what this is enemies still running up and towards you, and you're like climbing buildings, or climbing fire escapes in VR. This is, even in the trailer I can tell that this is a terrible idea for VR. It is so herky-jerky. This is gonna cause motion sickness like crazy. And all it is a bunch of enemies running towards you and you're punching them. Yeah, I could not recommend Fury Fighter VR. 15% off for $6.49. It's like, that is going to be nausea-inducing. Your Gamer has an article. You can now create Miis directly on your web browser. Nintendo Avatar is still not ready for retirement. There is certainly a question I have, though, as far as what does that really mean? I'm just gonna play this just so I can get another card. Because the well, apparently this is an official Nintendo product. Nintendo has launched an online Mii creation tool enabling anyone with a My Nintendo account to fashion their own avatar using nothing than an ordinary web browser. The Mii creation feature was originally announced at the start of May in a message sent out to users of Nintendo's social-focused Miitomo app, which just prior to its closure. With the end of the Miitomo service, you will no longer be able to create or edit Mii characters using Miitomo, but we're planning to add a feature in late May 2018, which will enable you to create and edit Mii characters for your Nintendo account via your web browser of your choice. And but does the Mii even show up in the Nintendo Switch? I don't have a Nintendo Switch and never played with one, so I literally have no clue as to, like, do Miis even play a role? Let's see. Seems a little odd that Nintendo has elected to provide a new method for creating Miis, given that the company is steadily shuffling their long-standing digital avatars, which launched with the Wii in 2006, further and further out of the spotlight in recent times. While Miis took center stage in the Wii and Wii U and 3DS, they're buried within the system settings on the Switch and only used as an optional user account avatars on the console. about the only other place you'll find them now, aside from the declined 3DS, is as my Nintendo account avatars. As such, Nintendo's neutrality is one of only limited use, but it's nice that the option is there. So I would do something with the Miis, but I don't know what you really want to do with them, because they never looked pretty. Just at the core of them, they just did not look good compared to, say, the Xbox Online avatars. Does Sony even have avatars, or is it just profile pictures? Like, I think it's just profile pictures. Let's see this. Destroy this. Destroy this. Double this.
Do my bidding.
Job done.
In return. Like, I think Nintendo needs to rethink the Miis to like a Mii 2.0. More realistic graphics, looking more like the avatars. Now, Microsoft has been pretty slow about unloading and or revealing its new version of avatars. Its upgrade there, but when they finally do release that, it is kind of an amazing thing. And I like avatars for whatever they're worth. They're not worth much. I guess in comparison to Steam, there's no real avatar either. So that kind of sucks too. Steam should come out with some kind of avatar thing. Heal, and then end the turn.
To my side.
I'll need to remember the remember to play these 2 cards before I die. Okay. So we silence this guy. Play this. We play this. And we heal here. We play this. We end the turn. PC Gamer has an article. Mirage Arcane Warfare is being removed from Steam due to GDPR regulations. Torn Banner's ill-fated magical brawler will be dead as of May 31st, 2018. So the article goes later down in the paragraph. Despite a positive review, Mirage never found a stable audience, a death sentence for a multiplayer-only game. Now, every game that I can think of that's been just taken down using the GDPR as an excuse has been multiplayer centered or multiplayer only. But as I just saw the title of this article, I thought to myself, maybe I should go buy it on Steam right now just to make sure I have it. But since it's multiplayer only, what would be the point of doing that? And when a game is removed from Steam, can you get a refund at that point? Can you get that instant refund if you bought this game and you played less than 2 hours of it? Or when Steam, I guess there's 2 scenarios. There's all games being removed from Steam and Valve no longer doing business with the company. Probably in that instance you're less likely to be able to request or get a refund, but you do get to keep the game. Or maybe Valve would eat that loss, compared to most incidences where a game is just being taken off Steam because the publisher doesn't want to sell it anymore, but the publisher still wants to do business with Steam, so so they probably still would be more willing to do the refund thing. In the end, it's really stupid to buy a game when you know it's losing a vast majority of its functionality. By the way, that person on chat did not say anything else, which makes me believe it was a spam bot. And well, it could be that, or it could be that I yelled at him. But certainly there could be spam bots that are looking for people to respond on the chat and not listening to the audio.
Right away. Who are you?
Next game we have on Steam is called The Duller, D-U-L-L-E-R. It looks like garbage. And it is a fake game, I'm sure, because this developer has got a whole bunch of other fake games. In fact, this was one of the developers that I was going to mention to Steam in deserving of being flagged, but frankly, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to be pro-censorship of even the worst of worst game developers, because I cannot trust that Steam is going to hear the right message that I try to send and not instead use my words against me. Which is to say that I don't feel like everybody in Steam is 100% capable of hearing and honestly replying to messages. And so I've lost faith in them on that. In the same way that I long ago lost faith in YouTube hearing the right messages. YouTube is now doing the exact opposite of what anybody in their right mind would ever want, by changing the subscribed feed from being chronological into being a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter style of algorithm-based things, which the subscription feed was the last place where you could be guaranteed that YouTube's garbage algorithm that was not interfering with people's ability to watch what they really want to watch.
Who are you?
So they say they're experimenting with it. I would heavily ask everybody to @ Team YouTube on Twitter and say, I hate this subscription, this what you've done to the subscription feed. I want it back chronologically. And just over and over again try to send that message. But again, sending a message to YouTube, they'll interpret it with whatever they want. They probably made their decision already, because they wouldn't be experimenting with, it seems, everybody's feed if they hadn't already decided if that's what they want to do. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Weird Dungeon Explorer Wave Beat. It looks like garbage. It's 59 cents, at least the price is approaching right. And it's from that exact same developer before, so that developer is flooding Steam again. In fact, they have a third game called Weird Dungeon Explorer Runaway. These are just garbage looking games that are basically the same thing with different names. But they're certainly not getting caught, and they're getting released on the same day. Next game from that exact same developer is called G Dino's The Jungle Adventure. Exact same game with a different skin on it. All these games are endless runner platforming games, kind of like Flappy Bird. And it's not quite to the level of MS Paint graphics, but it also is not good. And just I'm getting to the point where every week I'm having this exact same complaint about why is there no limit on the number of games you can release in a month for any publisher or developer. Like, any legitimate developer is going to limit themselves to at least one game a week. They're not going to have yet another game released on the same day. This game that I'm now looking at is called Weird Dungeon Explorer Defender. So that they've got this whole series of what look like SEO titles, search engine optimization titles, like ElsaGate used to do. It's just random words trying to get kids to install it on Steam, and I don't know if that would really work or not. There is quite a big difference between search engine optimization videos on YouTube with autoplay turned on and specifically selling games on Steam. I really wouldn't have ever thought that the games on Steam would be randomly purchased by little kids. Now we finally hit a real game that come out on Steam. Pixel Junk Monsters 2 is out. It is arguably one of the better tower defense games. The Pixel Junk series of games are out there. I played Pixel Junk Nom Nom Galaxy. I didn't really like that game, so I'll wishlist this Pixel Junk Monsters. But even a high quality tower defense game is not a super interesting game. We kind of all know what's going to happen and what's going on.
I can't do that.
Mind if I roll knee?
Next game we have is a game called Gunsmith that is 100% positive with 21 user reviews. It's a simulation strategy action indie game. It says you build up your own arms manufacturing company, find your factory, buy resources, produce a wide range of military equipment to sell to highest bidder, good or bad. That's up to you. Who you do business with is your choice. Don't ask, don't tell, get paid. After all, war is about making money. So, a kind of controversial topic for what looks like it is, for the most part, a factory floor building simulation game. Certainly puts a different spin on things. It has 296 all-time peak, so a lot of people have fallen for this. 16 achievements, early access, 1999. I
must consider.
Draw a card. Play this. Double this. Heal this. Return. Let's see, there's like no negative things here. When you have 21 people saying it's good, and you have such a high number of people playing it, I think I'm willing to wishlist this one. Like, Gunsmith does seem like it is certainly going down that hatred route of trying to sell on controversy, but it does have a Infinifactory type feel. It probably a basic ripoff of something like Infinite Factory with this spin to it. I wouldn't want to play it until it's out of early access. I wouldn't want to play it until it's on sale, but I certainly understand. Why is this a 6-6 right now?
Job's done.
What happened to that guy there? Oh, I changed his attack equal to his health. Oh. Thought I was doubling his health. The Wolf Among Us Season 2 has been delayed to 2019, which is saying a lot, frankly, because it's been quite a long time. It's a good thing, I suppose, in the end, because it means Telltale Games is willing to take their time and make sure they get it right. The Wolf Among Us is the last thing they have to really sell on until they have their next big thing, because the Walking Dead game series are done. And the Batman series certainly is alright, but not great. And the Minecraft series is alright, but not great. So we really need the Wolf Among Us to be good and maintain itself for Telltale, particularly as they're going to start making fewer and fewer projects. But it certainly has been a very, very long time. And I don't feel like a lot of people are going to even remember what happened in Season 1.
Is someone injured?
Job's done.
Oh.
I need to get this get her to draw a bunch of cards. Next game we have on Steam is called Viet Cong. Not a great idea, frankly. It looks pretty. I'm seeing a lot of
almost out of cards.
pretty like forested areas, but then I'm seeing a very basic survival meters and inventory type game. They say it's a survival shooter in first person in Vietnam. That's not gonna sell well at all, because even now when the most adults, most people's parents may have been in Vietnam, or their grandparents. Like even a young 20 or 30-year-old probably has somebody who remembers Vietnam at least somewhat, to realize that it's a very controversial, very negative experience all around. It's not like World War II, where maybe your great-grandfather, maybe your great-great-grandfather, maybe your great-great-great-great-grandfather was in it, and it's far enough away, and it's been such a long time that people just don't remember that as much. Like, I could see why things like Battlefield and Call of Duty would never want to touch Vietnam, and the same is true here. That this is a cheap survival asset flip type game, where I guess I am gonna have to use the phrase asset flip game when it actually does look like it is just an asset flip. The axe that I see in that one screenshot is probably not actually animated by the creator. The plants I see are probably not made by the creator. The life bar and survival meters seem like very basic DayZ type things. Let's see. I might win here, actually. I doubt it, though. No. Yeah, the chances of me, like, we kind of know this is Ice Block, or the one that would give her immunity anyways.
Bow to your queen.
Moving on, Gamesa has an article, Pirate Pop Plus for the Switch launches May 31st. Let's see. Pirate Pop Plus was first released for the Wii U and 3DS at the Nintendo eShop and PC Steam in November. And let's skip over to the Steam page. And let's skip over to the European account because we are done with the Asian account. Now, I do have a pretty laid back feeling, but I am also halfway through my second recording of the day, and I would prefer to be further along always. Like, the chances that I actually am going to record anything else today is pretty low. Looking at the trailer of Pirate Pop Plus, let's see, we need to play Warrior class cards and Paladin class cards and Shaman and Warlock victories. Let's see. Let's start with the Shaman and Warlock victory. Just doing this, just to save ourselves some time. The problem I see immediately with this Pirate Pop Plus is it's another black and white Game Boy-esque game, and I just don't want these kind of games in my life. I had Game Boys, lots of Game Boys, frankly. This is also an arcade bubble popping game. That's like the way you fight. And it has like gravity abilities that flip you against different walls. This is some real craziness. I'm not gonna play that one or that one. Let's start with that. I had Game Boys, certainly, and Pirate Pop Plus is 90% positive of 11 users, coming out November 4th, 2016, or 59.55% positive over its lifetime. 11 users recently. It's a 65 on Metacritic, so it's not great. I just don't have any nostalgia for Game Boy black and white screens. The low resolution, the 4-scale grayscale are just not something. I hope I didn't screw that up. It's just not something I want. Let's see. They're selling it for $10. Well, no, that's a bundle with the soundtrack. They're selling it for $5, and it's just not something I'd want. It looks like something that should be free as a Game Boy game mod. Like, just a example. And this developer, in their time since November 4th, 2016, has not come out with any other game, so it becomes questionable as far as why you'd want to support a company or developer who's made this kind of Game Boy nostalgia game, and then they they've really done nothing else in 30 years, and their next move is to just put the exact same game on the Nintendo eShop. Clearly this is an example of the Nintendo Switch reaching too far at this point. They seemingly are desperate to...
So many possibilities.
Let's see. If I do this, and then do this... That's probably going to be a waste. What was I talking about? Yeah, I just have no nostalgia for Game Boy games. We have somebody named Kel Tuzad who says, hi, HY. Hi, I suppose. Tech Raptor has an article, Wizard of Legend review, Meet the Spellslinger. I was very interested in Wizard of Legend when I first saw its fast-paced action, but it seems to be suffering a growing problem with roguelike games where it just doesn't have a good gameplay mechanic on giving you new elements and making them feel cool. And so it seems like there's just a general increase in burnout amongst... Let's hit this. Amongst reviewers and people who play games, as far as just not wanting to play rogue games, and that's been happening in a weird way, because there definitely were some rogue-like games that were getting a lot of coverage in their early access, and even by the time they came out of early access, Dead Cells is a great example. Dead Cells was very heavily covered in early access, and then people lost attention. Let's see. Let's do this.
Job's done.
And in the turn. As far as Wizard of Legend, Tech Raptor is giving it a 7.5, which is an average score. It's probably the equivalent of a 5.0 in the real world. So I've kind of lost interest in Wizard of Legend. Not enough that I'm gonna go spend the effort to find it and remove it from my Steam wishlist. It's just that will be one that when the Steam summer sale happens, I'll consider taking things off my wishlist then, and it very possibly might be one that just gets dropped because it now has no real historical relevancy, and it is just another roguelike game. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't work. I've lost. We have a game on Steam called Siralim, Siralim 3. It says it's an early access RPG fantasy that is procedurally generated. It seems like it is an RPG Maker game, or that level of quality, or even less than RPG Maker level of quality, as it seems like RPG Maker itself has increased its ability. It's from a developer who's made Suriname 1 and 2 and nothing else. And all of those are rated positive. This is 100% positive for 23 user reviews in there. So I think it probably is, if you really, really love 8-bit Oops, killed myself. I was gonna lose anyways. Let's try that again. I saw somebody struggling with these tavern brawls, and I don't know why. It seems like they are pretty easy. So yeah, if you loved NES 8-bit JRPGs in particular, and you wanted a random emulator that simulator that would just keep on making things like that, I think Suriname might satisfy you. But if that's not you, and you're really asking for something very odd, if that's what you're looking for, because you don't want procedural generation in a JRPG. You want very decent writing, kind of the best writing you would have gotten at that time. You want a good story and an interesting events and twists and turn. You don't want just random things to happen, and you still kind of want that. Like Final Fantasy is nothing without its story. It's just a really, really long, pointless experience. And so yeah, if Final Fantasy was just procedurally generated and it had no real story, you'd be really crazy. Next game we have on Steam is called Bully Store. Turn bully students into model students as much as possible to get more points. This looks like it's a VR game where you're working. I don't even know what you're doing. I think I'm gonna have to quit too. This looks like a VR game where it's like cooking food for people, and so it's another one of these VR games. It's early access, 30% off for $10.49. Like, I don't want to play a VR game where I'm doing a job. Let's just go ahead and exit, and hopefully this isn't a full-on network issue with everything. Yeah, so it seems like, why would I want to why would I want to work a job in a video game? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, as far as it being called the Bully Store, my guess is maybe this is some kind of concept that is done in some schools. I don't know where. It kind of feels like it might be something that you're
Welcome to my end.
It kind of feels like it might be a concept that would be done in like some Asian country. It's like you're caught bullying, so you have to go work in this store and serve others. The concept at the core of it makes sense. Of course, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of like teachers around watching you, so you can still bully as much as you want, except for the game takes points away from you.
Gul'dan versus Valera.
Next game we have on Steam is called Make It Rain, Love of Money. Mostly negative. 30% of 10 user reviews are negative. Now this has a trailer for a with live action actors, and I think this is literally just a cell phone port of a game where you're just swiping your screen up to make dollar bills fly. Let's see what some of the negative reviews are. It says, Make It Rain, The Love of Money is a 2014 mobile game published in America indie space studio Space Itch. The first week after its launch, the game acquired $2 million on Apple OS after spending... let's see, let's play this, I guess. And then, in return... acquired $2 million on Apple OS. By spending $10,000 on game development, they returned $50,000 daily. The premise of the game is quite simple. You swipe dollar bills as fast as possible to acquire money and wealth. You can also gain virtual currency by spending your earned cash to make a business and financial investment. This is free to play, poor and time-consuming mobile game, and it's being brought to Steam with the intent to make more money. With in-app purchases that can't be bought. The button is there, but it's grayed out. The game seems unfinished and broken. The game is pointless as the I Am Rich app. It has no purpose and is downright useless.
I must remain hidden to learn free.
There we go. Let's see. So people hate mobile games on Steam. That is pretty obvious. The developer of this game has not put anything else on Steam, probably never will, and I guess we've learned the one thing that Steam users will downvote is mobile ports. Moving on, Metal Slug XX for the PlayStation 4 is now available. It's from the PlayStation Store, $19.99. Good to know. Moving on to the next game. Let's see. Play this. Take control of a random
I have
enemy.
no time for games.
I am free.
We have a game called Meat Hunter, which is an RPG adventure indie. There's way too much on the screen right now. This is the only game from this developer. 15% off for $3.39. It looks like one of those cheap Chinese MMOs, but it's single player. It is in English and simplified Chinese, which I figure this probably is a cheap Chinese game from the look of it. Yeah, not great. Not worth recommending to anybody. Let's see. I'm going to...
I have no time for games.
I guess I have to hit this guy. Hope I steal this character. And then end the turn. Next game we have on Steam is called Cursed Town. Let's see. It's a RPG Maker game. It looks like it is one. At least that's the only game from this developer. The price is free though, so I guess we can't complain too much. They got the price right for the level of visual appeal it has. Weird that it's free considering there's nothing else this developer has made or published, so they're, I guess, trying to get some good interest in their games now.
Let none survive.
Oh, that was a mistake, clearly. Yeah, I can't recommend Cursed Town. The only thing I could think is that you're trying to, if you're putting out your first game on Steam for free, you're trying to get some good press and good name branding so that you can release your next game. Maybe that next game is good. Maybe the next game is actually going to be totally horrible. Let's not do that. TechRaptor has an article, Sega Genesis Classics Review and No Knuckles. The Sega Genesis Classics, is that the mini version?
Safety restrictions offline.
Yeah.
Harvesting
the Sega Genesis Classics is the game that has like, it's like the NES Mini. There seems to be a hub menu that is a poorly thought out, poorly laid out picture of a bedroom. So the idea, I get it, is that you would have this bedroom that would be typical to somebody who had a bed, like a bedroom that you would have in that time period. But these are never gonna work. But because of the way they have it where the extras are like on a shelf on the left and audio settings are on a shelf on the right, you're moving around too much. TechRaptor gave it a 7.0, and apparently there is a Steam and Xbox One equivalent. Or maybe I'm confused. No, this is not the Genesis Mini. So this is a different Sega Genesis collection. I guess I kind of have to have the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics on Steam though. Yeah, I'm eventually going to have to get all those to cover even a bit of them.
So many possibilities.
I tell you, playing as a Warlock is not working, so I'm going to have to switch over to a different character. We have a game on Steam called Endersight, free to play, massive multiplayer. You gotta be kidding me, this does not look good at all. It looks like a cell phone port. It's free, so again the price is right, but even at that the first review is a not recommended review. Alright, so we're not getting that victory. Let's try Shaman victories instead. So yeah, this game does not look like it's worth anything at all. It's the only game from this developer. Even if free, I cannot promote Endersight to a wishlist level. Next game we have is a game called Goat Life, which looks like him as paint graphics platforming. It's 40% off for 59 cents by a developer who's published nothing else. Another bad game. What's funny is I specifically went through all my I went through all the list of games yesterday and cleared out all the bad games, and we still have a ton of bad games coming out on Friday. Next game we have on Steam is From Village to Empire. It's a Hexel based game. Looks like you'd expect a level of graphics and quality from like $95. So play this.
Time is money, friend.
And just play this
Time is money,
again.
friend.
And then in the channel.
There's little time.
Yeah, this game From Village to Empire is single player, multiplayer, early access, $7.99. It has one positive review. Can't recommend it. It's not visually appealing, and it doesn't look like it's doing anything special. Let's hit this.
No
attack
time.
here.
No time.
And there. Next game we have on Steam is called Jurassic Safari Hunt. Has dinosaurs as a tag. You don't see that too often. Hunting, survival, action simulation. Let's see. It's from a game developer who has a lot of games, several of which are many are hunter related, but none of them are better than mixed in the reviews. So not a single positive review games. This looks like it might be asset flips, it might be original assets. I don't get the idea of hunting dinosaurs though. I really don't understand that. Is that something people want to do? Because like that doesn't really make sense.
No time. No time.
It really doesn't make sense. That's the last thing I'd want to do is hunt dinosaurs. I'd want to watch them and see what they're doing and watch them hunt, not just have a gun and a dinosaur. Let's see. So yeah, another bad game. We've gotten into a list of bad games. Next game we have is called Epiphany. This developer hasn't made anything else. It's $7.99 with no discount. And it seems like it is a single screen puzzle game of some sort that probably guess a combination or puzzle solution. Let's see this and then this.
I have no time for games. Let none survive.
No time. No time.
See, even if I did think this was a good game, $7.99 for a puzzle game, just to guess the combination, is way too expensive. So, no, I think I'm trying to convince myself to wishlist it, but like I cannot bring myself to wishlist it. It's just not visually appealing enough. Camera Searcher has an article, Get a Job, ZeniMax Online Studios is hiring from ESO monetization designer. This job would be in Hunt Valley, Maryland. So this would be the scumbag that everybody hates in games and find ways for ZeniMax to put in microtransactions and make money. And so we now kind of know ZeniMax is working on something, maybe like Fallout Shelter. Let's see. This. Okay, this. And then.
Well played.
This. This. on this.
Let none survive. Let none survive.
In the end. Next game we have on Steam is called Ants Mission of the Salvation. It looks like a Lemmings game. Might this actually be a Lemmings ripoff that might be worth it? The two other games that they've made were called Brain Bundle 4-in-1 and Summer Bundle 5-in-1. So this is like the first game I think that they've ever made that's more than a bundle. Would I want to play a Lemmings ripoff? I kind of think no, because you'd really have to love Lemmings. It's priced right at 20% off for $1.59. But there are no reviews, and it even says inspired by Lemmings. So the only thing that would make me wishlist this is if Lemmings actually is not not available on Steam. Apparently you don't spell Lemmings with 2 M's. Or apparently you don't spell it with 1 M. You do spell it with 2 M's. Interesting. Lemmings. Well, apparently there is no Lemmings game on Steam, so Ants Mission of the Salvation doesn't seem like it's translated very well, and that's odd considering English is its only language. I guess it is the one you have to pick. So I am going to wishlist it. This is a very rare instance of a game ripping off another game and that game just not being on Steam, therefore we could probably there's a reason to get the ripoff. It could be that Lemmings are available on like Origin, EA Access, or some other service like that, and that's why it's not on Steam. It's much in the way that Alice Madness Returns is not available on Steam, just for that reason. It's been about 30 minutes over our normal amount of time, so I definitely need to break up here, and we definitely struggled to get one victory. The good news is once we get one more victory, playing these cards aren't going to be much of anything. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And you pretty much have to follow me now that YouTube is messing with the subscribers feed and changing how that works for some crazy reason. Also, clicking the notification bell is mandatory at this point also. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam or gift me a gift card on Steam. Let me have more funding for the Steam summer sale that should be happening in about half a month. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.